people ask me, how do you stay positive all the time? And I said to myself, it's no matter how bad your situation is, there's always somebody that's in a worse situation in this world, no matter what it is. We all have our adversity that we face in life, some harder than others, but no matter what the situation is, you can always pull through if you always think about, how blessed you truly are. I truly believe one day that I'm going to go back to that field and get back up and run, walk, crawl, whatever I can do to finish that last play. Thank you guys for the opportunity to share my story. Answer anything, so whatever you guys got.
Thank you so much, Eric, and thank you so much, Ms. Legrand. We really appreciate your time so much, and it is so generous of you to be sharing your story with us today. Anyone that has a question can feel free to raise their hand. We also have index cards going around if anybody wants to write down a question.
Stand up, please.
So, with all of the challenges that you faced since your injury, how do you manage to stay so positive?
I'll repeat the question, Eric, in case somebody didn't hear on the side. With all the challenges that you faced, how do you remain so positive?
There's a few things I attribute that to. So, stick with me as I explain. There's just a positive attitude. My belief in, of course, God, and that everything happens for a reason, and then myself, my sheer determination. But it's also the people, like you guys. When I go home and I read my Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram messages I get from people, and they tell me like, "Wow, I did this today because I know you would love to do this." Like, especially people, I get messages all the time like, "I went on a 3-mile run today because I know you would do anything just to be able to walk me." I went to the gym today, to lose some weight because I know you would do anything to be back in the gym. Things like that. It makes me realize that I'm making an impact in this world. And one of the main things too, when in the beginning, when doctors told my mom that I would never breathe on my own, never eat solid foods, never be able to move, pretty much below my neck, below my injury, and then 5 weeks later, I came off the ventilator. I was breathing on my own after my injury. And that Thanksgiving, I got hurt on October 16th. And that Thanksgiving, I was able to eat a full solid meal with my family. that's now moving all around like this, you know, dancing around, shaking, things like that, really show me, you know, that I believe that I'm here to do bigger and better things than just play the game of football, but help other people get through their struggles and adversity in life. And as I go through mine, that just keeps me going because I realize how fortunate I am, because I know so many people who would love to be sitting right here sharing their story with you guys like I am today.
What do you miss the most about football?
What do you miss the most about football today?
You know, there's nothing like I realized, like the coaches always said, being in the locker room after like a hard practice or like after winning the game, you know. Those are just the things I miss the most, you know. Just time in the locker room with all my family, I call my family, my teammates I got to play with, you know. Those are the stuff that's the things I miss the most when everyone's joking around, making fun of something that happened out on the practice field. Those are things that you don't get to get again once you leave that atmosphere. And, you know, I miss that so much. Of course, I miss playing the game and being around everyone. You know, I even miss practice, which is crazy to say, you know, but, you know, it's just being in the locker room is always the time where you really go close as a team, and like I said, you get to make fun of each other, joke around, you know, a little bit, things like that. That's the thing I miss most, being in the locker room after the game or after practice.
Question from the audience written down. What is it like for you to be able to rewatch the footage of that football game?
In the beginning, actually, like when I first got hurt, I could not watch. I didn't want to see how I got hurt because I was, you know, I heard it was all over TV and this and that. I'm like, I don't know if I want to see like how I got hurt, you know, and the exact play. And it took me a good 3 weeks to a month to watch it. Then when I first saw the hit, I was like, oh, I actually hit that dude pretty hard. So I was actually kind of happy. At least I went out with a nice hit, you know, for my last play. So once I saw it and everything, it didn't really bother me after that, you know. I kind of came to, you know, realization it is what it is with this injury. And, you know, I got to make the best of it now. But beginning, it was rough, but as you saw, it was a pretty good hit, so I was happy to see that.
Were you planning on playing in the NFL, and which team were you hoping to join?
I was, you know, of course, you would want to play in the NFL, you play for any team, especially, you know, whoever's cutting the check you play for. But I figure I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan, so grew up a Denver Broncos fan since I was 6 years old, and I would have loved to get drafted by them. And hopefully now, since I can't play, they can finally try to stop choking and win a Super Bowl for me.
Before the injury, you were inspired by the word believe. Where did that come from?
Well, that video, as you saw, I was explaining, that was the summer before I got hurt, that video where I was explaining to believe, and that's at my high school. It was above the locker room before we used to go out, and as I explained, my little corny thing, I used to just hit the EL and believe, you know. And then I finally told people about it, you know, in that video, and I told my best friend that summer how I would do it. And then when I got hurt, you know, that was everyone was just like, you gotta believe, you know, you gotta believe that you're gonna get better, you gotta believe that, you know, God put you in this position for a reason. And it just took off, and then when I explained to everybody about the EL, my initials are right in the word believe. It just really took off, and it's still good to this day.
Take from the audience. Stand up.
Someone who wants to reach the dream of playing football and everything, all the health concerns that everyone's bringing up, what would you say, do you encourage still playing football with all the health concerns going on?
Given all the health concerns that are being discussed today about playing football on any level, what do you feel, what do you suggest that you tell people in terms of playing football now and in the future?
Two parts to that answer, and I think actually the NFL and especially with what they're doing now with the younger leagues they're doing, the youth leagues, they're doing a tremendous job, and I didn't even think sometimes they're even doing too much because, you know, the game is it's a violent game, playing a game of football, and everyone knows when they strap up that helmet with the risk that they're putting on the line, you know, when it goes on out there in the football field. And the NFL is doing a great job, you know, with the penalties wise and trying to stop, you know, hard hits and blindside hits, and trying to teach kids at a young age the proper way to tackle now, making these coaches become certified because we're going to have to go through courses. I think they're doing a tremendous job. And the second question is, part of that is, I believe football is the best game, you know, teacher for life. And you got to think about it. In high school, you get 10 games, college 12 to 13, the NFL 16, and then, you know, playoffs, if you make the playoffs, you get more. But those other, 365 days of the year, you're busting your butt, just learning how to work as a team, going through adversity, handling stuff, a lot of self-evaluation, how to handle a situation in life when things get tough. It sets you up for life. That's just how life is. Sometimes you need to work together as a team. Sometimes you face adversity, you may lose your job. What are you going to do when you have a family at home, you lose your job? Sit there and sulk. No, you find a way to get the bills paid and try to support your family. Things like that. It's the same thing with football. When things go wrong, you're going to sit there and sulk. No, you got to find a way to get the job done. That's why I always said football's the best game of, the best teacher of life. Best game to learn from it. I have a son, fortunately I have a son one day, and he has the passion to play the game of football. I would 100% throw him out there, let him play the game, and teach him, of course, the right way and how to play the game the right way, but let him go out there and learn from the game of football.
Cynthia, real loud.
What was the hardest thing for you to adjust to after the accident?
What was the hardest thing for you to adjust to after the accident?
Hardest thing still to this day that I struggle with is not being able to take care of myself, having to rely on somebody to do everything for me. I was always the type that was always on the run. Like when I would come home from college, I would come home, see my mom, eat a quick meal, then go to one friend's house. From there, I would go to another friend's, then, come home to go to sleep. I was always on the move, and now I always have to, wait on somebody. Like, Mom, can you bring me here? Or have my friend, call one of my friends, can you bring me here? Can you take me here today? Can you do this for me? That's the hardest thing for me, not being able to get up and get myself ready. Now having to have a nursing aide come in and take me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get me ready. It's not easy. It's not something that I like to deal with, but it's something that I have to deal with now for the time being until I can do it again one day. And there's a lot more worse things out there that I could be complaining about and not being able to take care of myself. So that's definitely the hardest thing. I don't like dealing with it, but something I'm growing patience with.
A follow-up question to that, was there ever a time when you wanted to give up?
I've never wanted to give, 4.5 years into this, I've never been at a down part where I just said, this is too hard, I'm giving up. I've learned a lot, especially playing the game of college football. When Coach Shiano, he used to put us out there, we were training for the military, the way that he used to work us. And it's points where you looked at yourself while you're on that field like you're about to pass out, and you're like, why am I doing this to myself? And compared to this injury, it's just all mental toughness, how you deal with it. You may have a down period at one point, but like I said, it brings you back to thinking about, wow, I have a nice house, nice, things set up for me with I have a nice, rooms they set up for me. People don't even have that. Some people, after they get hurt, have to end up, they don't have the financial, means to necessarily take care of themselves, end up in nursing homes, things like that. I'm just like, wow, I'm very blessed to be in my situation, so I don't get down and say I want to give up in my situation, because I realize all the things that I do have and I appreciate it.
Do you believe that your religious beliefs helped you overcome your challenges?
I do. I truly, like I said, I truly believe that this has happened for a reason for me. God has a plan for all of us, and this is my plan. To help other people go through their adversity. As I hopefully one day become one. I always pray that I'll become one of His miracles on show. I am walking on my feet, walking again. If you just have the faith and keep, hard work and determination, that anything is truly possible in this world.
Did you always feel comfortable sharing your story, or was it a long process to be able to speak?
Did you always feel comfortable telling your story, or was it a process to get to this point?
I've always been the people's person. I always love to talk, to share stories, have a good time. And as more things happen in my life as things gone by, I've been able to love to share my story. Things are always happening more and more in my life, that I can keep on adding to my choices. So I've always been, comfortable sharing it, and just now as I can experience more things in this world, I even feel I guess more comfortable sharing it. I've come a long way, we've experienced a lot, done a lot of things. One of my biggest accomplishments I always say I'm happy about is I graduated college. When I got hurt, I was only a junior, and I had to withdraw from all my classes, and people just assumed that I was finished. I had to still go through school, learn how to talk to a computer for dragonetial speaking so I can get my papers, but things like that. And it took me 2.5 years to finish, but I got my degree in labor relations, so there's no excuse for any of you guys out there. You guys better get that paper if I was able to do it.
Nice and loud.
What was going through your mind when the Bucks signed you to a contract?
So for those of you who don't
Did you get the
know,
question? What was going through your mind when the Bucks signed into a contract?
yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I was able to sign an NFL contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My head coach at Rutgers left Rutgers in 2011, after the 2011 season, and took a job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 2 years, which is an NFL team. And when I opened the summer his first year, he gave me a call. March 2nd, he gave me a call. May 2nd, I'm sorry. Gave me a call, just talking, normal with me. Just like, hey, how's everything going? How's school? This and that. And then he goes, I want to, offer you something. I want you to be a part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster and sign an NFL contract as the 90th man on the roster and be a part of this organization. We want our players to be just like you. And, I was just like, Coach, you sure you're going to do this? I can't even play it down. You're going to waste the spot. And he goes, this is the least we can do for you. This would have been your draft class, and we want all of our players to be just like you. And I was just like, wow, Coach, you made my dream come true, even though I never got to play down in the NFL. Like I said, I always signed an NFL contract and been a part of an NFL organization and been down there 10 different times in the 2 years that he was there. And like I said, I was a part of the NFL. I had retired in 3 months, so I had a nice short career and definitely enjoyed it. It's just that can't thank Coach Shiano enough for doing something like that for me. It made my dream come true.
I think sort of a follow-up on that. Do you still keep in touch with your teammates and coaches?
I actually really do keep in touch with my teammates. I'm actually at home. I have a device where it hooks up my phone by my face. I put a stylus pen in my mouth, and I'm in a group message with my 3 roommates that I was really close with at school. And I still do talk to Coach Shiano probably maybe once a month. I just talked to him about 2 weeks ago. He still calls me. We still stay in touch and everything. And he's still down there in Tampa living, and I'm up here in Jersey, but still stay in touch with those guys. It's cool to see, especially at the Rutgers. It's a big thing with family. We put it into we have bracelets that we wore and we put into our program. It's family, and it's the definition for that was forget about me, I love you. You sacrifice for each other. So that's one thing that we all do. We all stick to that. We all stick together with all of our teammates. And I still do talk to a lot of them.
A little bit of a different slant. Did you gain back any feelings since the injury, or what progress have you made physically since the injury?
I've made a lot of progress since surgery, from being stuck on pretty much my bed, barely able to turn my head left and right, to, like I said, moving around a lot more, feeling throughout my body, not the same feeling that you have, but I've gained a lot of sensation back throughout my body and able to move my arms now more than I was ever before, and giving my fingers to twitch every now and then. So things have come back a lot, and then, like I said, being able to come off the ventilator, being able to eat solid foods, not having to be on a feeding tube for the rest of my life, things like that. I've been able to do a lot. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in secondary conditions with this injury that you would never even think of, but I've been able to overcome a lot of them and just keep it going day by day.
Have you ever heard, or did you hear from the player you collided with on the field?
Good question. I am actually really good friends with Malcolm Brown. That was his name. He's actually from Long Island, and he's in the Army now, leading troops. And I have the utmost respect for everybody in that program. You think about, they just play football for fun. I've got to go up there and experience a day in their life, and it's truly incredible that they, from the time they get up, and then from breakfast to their classes, to Army training, to then having to go to football practice, and then dinner, all these different things. I was like, wow, you guys do some incredible stuff, and Malcolm Brown and I are still very, very close friends.